You sit. Where you want? Just where you wanna. Hello beautiful souls, it's Laurie. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a random video that I just thought about doing yesterday, and I wanted to kind of get all these thoughts out of my head before I forget. So as you might have seen in the title, we're going to talk about kind of like consistency over intensity, and that's something that I've struggled with a lot in the past, and I will share kind of my experience and kind of what it means for me. It's not a very scripted video, it's really just things that I've been like kind of journaling about, thinking about, meditating about, and I think I've kind of figured some stuff out, so I decided to share it with you all, so maybe this can help you as well. So first, when I say consistency over intensity, this can apply to anything in life, and I will provide a lot of examples through this video. I'll try to keep it short, but to me, this concept applies to the gym, to school, to any kind of positive habit like waking up early, things like even like cleaning, and any kind of new activity that we start doing. And when I mean consistency over intensity, I mean doing little bits of everything as opposed to like going really hard once and then kind of burning out. So I'll give you some examples. For the gym, something I've experienced in the past, and I'm sure some of you have experienced too, is you haven't gone in a very long time, or you've never gone ever, and then the first time that you go, you just go so hard and you get so sore, and you can go for a whole week, or you do something so difficult and so not beginner friendly that it scares you off. You don't end up going back, instead of starting slowly and kind of building your endurance from there. So that's something I've done in the past, and even every time that I go back to the gym, somehow I kind of want to get back to where I was when I was very consistent, and every time I kind of fall on my face. So it's kind of a lesson that I have to learn over and over again, that I need to just start slow and slowly build my motivation up, my endurance up, my strength up, everything. I just always have to like rebuild everything from scratch almost. And that's something that's kind of important to understand. So lately I've been pretty good at that. So ever since, I'd say maybe a little bit before Christmas break, but then also after Christmas break, and especially ever since we got back from Hawaii, I've been more consistent with the gym because I started slowly. I started going like for maybe like 25 to 30 minutes and doing maybe 1 to 2 exercises, like 3 to 5 sets, you know, but like going very slowly and not having a very strict, very intense program. And I'm slowly building myself up. So, and I did the same thing with cardio as well. I started out with like only doing very small amount of cardio. I think I did like 5 laps at the gym, which is like 200 meters per lap, and kind of build it up from there. So now I do way more than that, and I do cardio almost every day, and I'm way better at it, but that took time. Another example is getting up early, and that's something I've also struggled with, especially since we got back from Hawaii, because I get jet lagged so easily. So what happens is, like, if I try to wake up like super early, like, you know, like 5:30, 4:30, something like crazy like that once, I might be able to, but I will completely fuck up my system, and then I will be so tired and I won't be very productive that day, but then it will also really impact the rest of my week, because my sleep schedule is going to be all over the place and it's not going to be good. So ever since we got back from Hawaii, I've been slowly, very slowly and consistently building my sleep schedule up, so waking up earlier and earlier. So all of last week I was waking up at 7, and towards the end of the week I tried to wake up around like 6:30, and then this week I'm attempting to wake up at 6, and I don't think I'll really work my way up higher than 6. I don't think I really need to, because of Tim and I's schedule. Like 6 sounds like a perfect number, a healthy hour for me to get up at, especially since the sun is gonna start rising earlier and earlier. You need to just wake up progressively earlier, so you don't shock your system, and so it doesn't completely impair you to be productive during the day. Another example, maybe like cleaning. So instead of doing like a really big spring cleaning, you know, like doing a little bit each day and kind of just like keep everything tidy on a daily basis, is kind of consistency over intensity. That's another example. Or, you know, eating healthy. So if you're not used to eating greens, eating like salad 3 times a day is very intense, and it will probably turn you off of greens for the rest of your life. It's not going to be a very viable option and it will probably scare you off. Whereas like if you incorporate a tiny little bit of greens every day, you know, like even like 1 bite, you know, and then like week 2 bites, and like slowly build yourself up from there, then you're way more likely to be successful at improving and getting better. So all of this is a crazy long intro, I feel like, to explain kind of the concept of consistency over intensity. But that's just a concept I kind of wanted to introduce to you. You can really apply it in any way that you want in life. Now, this is more like of just like almost like a journaling, but like voice journaling. But I kind of want to share how school has been for me lately and how this applies to school for me personally. In everything that I do, I can be pretty intense, so whenever I take up a new goal, a new project, I try to go like all in, and it usually ends up hurting me in one way or another. Like I burn out, or something goes wrong, I get anxious, things happen, right? So it's something I really have to work on being better at. Just like stop being so intense. For the past few months, I've been struggling, and I've been journaling a lot about it, talking to my coach about it, talking with Tim about it, and I've kind of realized why I've been feeling so stuck with school, and kind of understanding why I put so much pressure on myself, the kind of expectations I put on myself as well. And I just have too many expectations, and they're too high, and it's just not good. I might have mentioned on this channel before something called Parkinson's Law, which says that the work expends as to fill the time available for its completion. And that's something that when I learned, like it's a productivity principle, I guess, and when I learned about it, I was like, oh, it makes sense. And since I'm doing school online, like, and I need to keep myself accountable, then I need to put very strict deadlines and really keep myself accountable in that way. Otherwise, I will never finish anything. And in theory, sounds great. Sounded like a good plan. But I feel like I've trapped myself in this kind of cycle where I'm constantly failing at meeting unrealistic deadlines that I set for myself. And what happens is I'm so disappointed in myself that I become very unmotivated and very unproductive, and a kind of vicious cycle happens. So because of this block, I've kind of been unable to finish certain tasks, and I've been slowing down and getting more anxious because of those things, because every time I take a break in my head, it's anxiety triggering. And because I couldn't finish tasks in the amount of time that I set for myself, it would just create this sense of not being good enough. And all of this like was really hurting me, you know, like I've been feeling like very sad and kind of depressed because of that, like school-wise. And so how this relates to what I've been talking about, to like consistency over intensity, is because of the type of study I do distance learning online, and it's kind of self-paced, is that it's almost impossible for me to estimate the amount of time it will take me to do something. So with the amount of information I have starting a course, or even like in the middle of a course, it's really difficult to evaluate how long it will take me to complete a certain task. So for me to set myself deadline based on completion doesn't work well. Like, let's say for instance, for readings, it might seem pretty easy, you know, like a number of pages should approximately take you the same amount of time, but it could still vary depending on like the size of the pages, the size of the fonts, and like the amount of graphs and images that are on the page, right? And like some pages are written like from one margin to the other, and it's like really narrow margins, and some of them have like really wide margins. So it really depends. You still can't, like 17 pages in 2 textbooks can be very different amount of time to read. So for me to set myself like a 1 hour or 2 hour to read those 17 pages isn't necessarily realistic, because sometimes it will take more or less time. And then when it comes to notes, it's even harder, because depending on the amount of relevant information in a chapter, it might take from 10 to 15 minutes to 3 hours to take notes, you know? And like same goes with assignments. It's really difficult to gauge how long these might take. And because of the way I've been doing school in the past few months, trying to set like deadlines like that based on tasks, I've been completely ruining my productivity. So where the concept of like consistency over intensity comes in is really that this intensity evaluation level, you know, like completing this in this amount of time, doesn't work for the kind of school I do. So I decided that I will start being more consistent instead. And by that I mean that I will have blocks in my schedule that will be solely dedicated to a certain course, and I will do as much as I can in that block. And in that block, I want to specify that it's of actual work time. So like if I have a 3-hour block, we're talking about actual work, not I do 5 minutes of work and then I start scrolling on my phone and then like another 5 minutes of work and then I watch a YouTube video. I'm talking about 3 hours of productive work, engaged work. But within that 3 hour, I will know what task I'm doing, like I'm reading X chapter, or I'm working on X chapter, or I'm working on X assignment. But there won't be any kind of completion goal at the end of the 3 hour. So I will just do as much as I can and then pick it up next time I have another period of that course. I know this wouldn't work for anybody, like it probably wouldn't work with regular school, but that's what would work for me. And so that's kind of how I'm going to try to go about school now, and hopefully this really helps. That's what I've been doing this week and this past week, and it's been helping tremendously. I've done so much more work this week and the last week than any other week before because I didn't feel so paralyzed, I didn't feel so hopeless, I didn't feel so, I don't know, just not good enough. So yeah, so far it's been helping. I don't know, what do you think about this concept of consistency over intensity? Is that something you can kind of relate to, something you can apply in your life? Is there a place where you think you're being too intense and not consistent enough? How does it apply to your life? How can you apply this to your life? How can this make your life more positive? How can this make your life better? Just let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you think about this whole concept in the comments below as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you like these kinds of like random, informal, journaling almost videos, because I can do more. I did one on judgment and criticism a couple months ago, I think, but I can do more of those. They're kind of like coffee chat, except I drank my coffee before I filmed that. But yeah, thanks for watching. I love you guys very much, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!